morning, everyone. We're going to ask all of our many elected officials to please join us all at the podium for the press conference portion of our event today. And we also will let all of our guests and veterans know that we would love to have you join us for the bill signing portion. Just gather around the bill signing table when we get to that part, and we'll make sure that we let you know. And we'll begin. Good morning, everyone, and we thank you so much for joining us at the West Haven Veterans Museum and Learning Center, where veterans are honored and celebrated every day. This is such a beautiful place. If you've never been here before, you need to take a walk around and see all of the beautiful exhibits. There is no finer veteran museum in our state than this one, and we want to thank all of the volunteers and thank the museum for hosting this ceremony today. We also are very grateful to be here to sign some very important legislation. Public Act 1929, requiring the development of a military to machinist program. Public Act 19-33, which extends certain state war service benefits to certain veterans, and Public Act 19-17 that expands the property tax credit exemptions for veterans. And so today we want to reiterate our administration's commitment to continue to support veterans who serve their country in the armed forces, and each of these bills helps us do just that. These were bipartisan bills that passed unanimously in both chambers, and I'll tell you that that doesn't happen frequently, so we're very proud to celebrate that. And we're very honored to be joined by Senate President Pro Tem Marty Looney, Senator James Maroney, and Representative Dorinda Borer, who are the co-chairs of our Veterans Committee. And also, we are joined by a myriad of legislative and municipal leaders. We have Representative Jane Garibay, Representative Ken Gucker, Representative Michael DeMassa, Senator Tony Long. We have Representative Ferraro. We have Mayor Nancy Rossi and Town Clerk Debbie Collins. We thank all of you for joining us. And of course, we are very honored to have the person that Governor Lamont and I have chosen to lead our Department of Veterans Affairs. And he gets up every day working hard to support and advocate for our Veterans Commissioner, Tom Sadi. So I want to thank everyone for their bipartisan support of this important legislation. And it is my great pleasure to introduce a woman who not only co-chairs the Veterans Affairs Committee and is from the beautiful city of West Haven, but she is also the legislative representative to the Governor's Council on Women and Girls. She is a wonderful advocate for West Haven, our veterans, and our state. Representative Dorinda Borer.
Thank you. And thank you to our Lieutenant Governor. And I just want to take a moment to really welcome our Governor and our Lieutenant Governor, because typically bills are signed up at the Capitol. But they chose to come here to West Haven because they thought it was that important to be here at our Military Museum amongst our veterans and demonstrate their support for our veterans. So thank you for everything you do, and welcome to West Haven. Just want to, I know we thanked the Military Museum. I want to do a special shout out to Arlene Painter, who helped coordinate this event today. She's in the back, so I don't know where she is, but she's probably busy doing something. And just so everyone knows, this museum is a 501(c)(3). It is run by volunteers and retired veterans, and as the Lieutenant Governor said, with the purpose of educating our younger generation about all the sacrifices and what our military personnel and our veterans have gone through for us, and also to be a place where veterans can come and network and feel pride in everything that they've done. So we thank the museum, and I always add at the end of the museum description that it does welcome donations. So keep that in mind. I think the Lieutenant Governor mentioned all of the elected officials that I had on my list as well, our local representatives, Representative Ferraro and Representative DeMassa, our mayor, our city clerk Debbie Collins, our treasurer Michael Last, and then we also have some council members here as well. Ronnie Quagliani, who is the chairman of our city council, and Bridget Hosky, who's our 1st district councilwoman, and Peter Massaro, our 6th district councilperson. So thank you to all the elected officials for being here today. And thank you to the Veterans Committee. And as Lieutenant Governor mentioned, this was a bipartisan effort, and this is a committee that works really well together, and we welcome all of your input as we go into the next legislative session. We'll be working on more legislative initiatives. So we're going to quickly describe the 3 bills that we're signing here today. We passed, I think it was 15 veteran bills. We chose these 3 because they represent different aspects of the veteran support. The one that I'm going to be introducing is Bill 7244. And what that bill does is it increases the property tax exemption for disabled veterans by $500. So we recognize that our veterans, many of them are disabled because of the challenges that they encountered, and it's our obligation to recognize that and do everything we can to support those veterans. So the $500 exemption is for those with a disability rating of 10% or more, and that bill goes into effect October 1st. So we encourage everyone, if you want to learn more, to go to your local tax assessor office so that you can learn how you can file for that. So we thank you all for your support, and now it's my pleasure to introduce my co-chair of the Veterans Committee, Senator Maroney, who will talk about the other bill that we're signing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to represent West Haven and also to work with Dorinda as a co-chair. And I think it's very fitting that we are the co-chairs of the Veterans Committee when we have this great Veterans Museum as well as one of the best VAs in the country in West Haven. So I also wanted to introduce one representative snuck in after everyone. So Representative Chris Perrone has joined us here today. So thank you for joining us as well, and thank you to all of the local officials for being here. As you know, Connecticut has a storied history of both manufacturing and our military involvement. And I'm very honored to introduce Senate Bill 968, which is the military to machinist bill. I'm also very honored that my grandfather was both part of the military and part of the manufacturing. His grandfather started Gaynor Electric in Bridgeport in the early 1900s. So this bill will aim to get veterans into manufacturing. And as you may know, there are currently an estimated 13,000 to 15,000 open advanced manufacturing jobs in the state of Connecticut. And within the next 5 to 10 years, between retirements and the growth of our growth of Electric Boat, Pratt & Whitney and Sikorsky, it's estimated we may need up to 35,000 new manufacturing jobs. And so this will be a great way to help veterans who have served the country come back and serve our economy and get into great, well-paying manufacturing jobs. But we know that not everyone is necessarily capable of getting involved in CNC machining or in some of the advanced manufacturing jobs. So in addition to that, this bill also will expand and create a new platform to employment just for long-term unemployed veterans. And this is a program that had run in the past, and when it had run, it had over a 90% placement rate for these long-term unemployed veterans. And so due to budget cuts years ago, we had to cut that out. So it's great that we're able to reinstitute that. And also, Representative Bora mentioned how we work in a bipartisan way. Thanks to Senator Witkos, who is not here, for contributing to the bill as well. And that as part of this bill, the Department of Labor, if someone calls and there's not a veterans unit near that veteran, they'll be instructed to guide them to a closer workforce investment board. We have 5 great workforce investment boards throughout the state that all have veterans units. So it's my pleasure to introduce that bill in my honor. And now I would like to introduce the next speaker, Commissioner of Veterans Affairs, Tom Sadi, who is also a major in the Army Reserves. So, thank you.
Governor Lamont, Lieutenant Governor Bisowitz, Senator Looney, and co-chairs Representative Bohr, Maroney, and all the elected officials who are here from the state level and municipal level. And most importantly, I want to recognize our veterans who are here. Could we have all those who are veterans or current members of the United States military, if you can, please stand. If you are not, please raise your hand so we may recognize and thank you for your service that allows us to be here. Thank you. You know, this bill signing ceremony demonstrates the commitment of Connecticut to its veterans and their families. I'm humbled each day as Commissioner of Veterans Affairs because my job is serving those who have served, our veterans, the men and women in this room who wore the uniform and continue to wear the uniform. And it's been a great experience of mine to work with leaders like Representative Bohr, Senator Maroney, and the legislators who are here along with the governor and lieutenant governor, and to work, as the lieutenant governor said, in a bipartisan way, because veterans issues and supporting our veterans should never get caught up in partisan politics, and the people here have proven that is the case in Connecticut, that we don't let that happen. Well, as you look around in this museum, we're surrounded by physical reminders of service and sacrifice. But as you do look around at the museum, look past the displays to the people who served, those who returned, those who made the ultimate sacrifice, and those who came home with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It is they, the individuals behind what you see in these displays, it is they that we come together for today and that we honor today. Public Act 1933 is a bill that was advanced by the department and has great support from the legislature, from the governor and lieutenant governor. It ensures that all Connecticut veterans who served in time of war and whose service may have been cut short due to injury in the line of duty receive the benefits they deserve. It also eliminates a 2-year residency requirement for certain state housing, health care, and burial benefits, ensuring that no veteran, whether they have lived in Connecticut for a few days or for many years, is denied access to those benefits in Rocky Hill and in our district offices. My thanks again to the leaders of the General Assembly, to the commitment of Governor Lamont and Lieutenant Governor Bisowitz, and for the collaborative work in passing the 3 bills today, among many others, which include tax relief, supporting jobs programs, and opening up residential and health care programs for our veterans. I am now pleased to introduce our governor, Ned Lamont, who's been a great supporter of the Department of Veterans Affairs and our mission at the department of serving all our Connecticut veterans. Governor Lamont.
Well, thanks, Tom, and good morning, everybody, and to Dorinda and James and the good work you've all done. It's about more than the bills. The bills are also a way that we continue to remind our community about our vets and about the amazing things that each and every one of you did. And it's more important than ever. I mean, when I grew up, time's marching on, you know, our parents and grandparents, and, you know, they all served. And we all had somebody in our families and close friends that had served, sacrificed, served, were there. And increasingly, that's not the case in America. Increasingly, it's a smaller group of people who are serving their country. I was with the new head of our Coast Guard, and he just said that we have our Coast Guard families, but we're trying to do a better job of welcoming more people into the military, welcoming more people into the Coast Guard. And it's very important that everybody play their role. So that's, in part, for me, what these bills are about. Remembering and reminding everybody every day what our vets have done for them. And that's what this museum is all about. I mean, I was amazed walking in. I mean, you remember how proud we were every day of the folks that were serving, our country. I walk in and I said, okay, that's a really nice wedding gown. What is that exactly all about? And maybe you all asked the same question when you walked in here. But her fiance, I think, was a bomber pilot, and the wedding gown was made out of the parachute. Every day we were reminded of the work that our folks were doing. And by the way, as I remember from my family, the parachutes were often folded by the wives of the folks who were going to do the parachute. So you had, that was that type of a collective energy. And that's what we have to remind people every day, and that's why we're here. And I think that's what this museum is all about. I've never been here before. I didn't even know that much about it. And I'm going to be back, and I'm going to be telling everybody. And to each and every one of you, the guys there who are serving in Vietnam, and each and every one of you, I just want to say your government, your people, your governor, we're so proud of you. And we tell that story every chance we get. We go to our schools. And by the way, I was just up at Electric Boat, and we had all the sailors there, and we looked at the new South Dakota, and I was just reminded. They reminded me of something. They said, never once have we fired a torpedo since World War II, in anger at a target, only in training. But for 70 years, they've been keeping the peace. For 70 years, they have been our sentinel. And that's what each and every one of you did, whether you were serving overseas, whether you were here, you were our sentinel standing up for America. And that's why I'm so proud to be with you today and so proud to sign these bills.
Okay. So we would be so honored if all of our veterans would come up with us and gather around as the governor signs.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.